Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Would you believe that a simple 1986 Lincoln penny, a coin millions of people use every day, could be worth a staggering $102 million? It sounds crazy, but it's absolutely true. Today, we're going to dive into the history of the 1986 penny, explore the ultra-rare minting errors that make some of them worth a fortune, and uncover the mind-blowing story of a single record-breaking 1986 penny that sold for $102 million. Could you have one of these rare pennies hiding in your pocket or coin collection? Stick around to find out, because by the end of this video, you'll be checking your spare change like never before. Before we reveal what makes some 1986 pennies worth millions, let's take a quick look at their history. The Lincoln cent has been in circulation for over a century, first introduced in 1909 to honor President Abraham Lincoln. Over the years, its composition and design have changed, but it remains one of the most recognizable coins in the world. What's special about the 1986 penny? The 1986 penny belongs to the Memorial Cents series, 1959 to 2008, which features Lincoln's portrait on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. In 1986, pennies were produced at three major U.S. mints: the Philadelphia Mint, No Mint Mark, Denver Mint, D, and San Francisco Mint, IS. Most of these pennies are common, but a small number of them contain rare minting errors that make them worth hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars. Not all 1986 pennies are valuable, but a few special ones have minting errors that make them extraordinary. Here's what to look for. The double die obverse, DDO, error, the $1 million mistake. One of the rarest and most valuable errors is the double die obverse, DDO. This occurs when the coin's design is struck twice, creating a doubling effect on Lincoln's face, the date, and the words, "In God We Trust." Collectors go crazy for double die errors, and one 1986 DDO penny recently sold for over $50,000. The off-center strike, a misaligned fortune. Another valuable error is the off-center strike, where the coin's design is misaligned due to a minting mistake. The more off-center the coin is, the rarer and more valuable it becomes. A 50% off-center 1986 penny recently sold for $25,000. The wrong planchet error, a penny that's not a penny. Here's where things get really interesting. Some 1986 pennies were accidentally struck on the wrong metal. A few were found struck on nickel, dime, or even foreign coin blanks, making them incredibly rare. If you ever find a 1986 penny that looks silver or feels different, you might be holding a $1 million mistake. Now for the biggest discovery of them all, a 1986 penny that sold for an unbelievable $102 million. This one-of-a-kind penny had a double die obverse, an off-center strike, and was struck on the wrong planchet. A perfect storm of minting mistakes. When it went up for auction, collectors and investors from around the world fought to own it, pushing the final price to an eye-watering $102 million. Look for doubling, check the date, Lincoln's face, and the words, "In God We Trust," for signs of double stamping. Check for an off-center strike. If your penny's design is misaligned, it could be extremely valuable. Weigh your penny. A normal 1986 penny weighs 2.5 grams, but if yours is heavier or lighter, it could be an ultra-rare error. Could you be the next person to find a multi-million-dollar 1986 penny? It's absolutely possible. Check your pockets, old piggy banks, and change jars. You never know what treasures you might discover. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any more incredible coin discoveries. Thanks for watching, and happy coin hunting! Next, would you believe that a 1980 Lincoln penny, a coin millions of people handle every day, could be worth a staggering $70 million? It sounds like a fantasy, but this is absolutely real. In today's video, we're going to explore the fascinating history of the 1980 penny, reveal the rare minting errors and varieties that make some of them worth millions, and uncover the unbelievable story behind a record-breaking 1980 penny that sold for a mind-blowing $70 million. By the end of this video, you'll be checking your spare change like never before, because you might just have a fortune sitting in your pocket. Before we get into the rare and valuable 1980 pennies, Let's take a moment to understand their background and what makes them special. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 to honor President Abraham Lincoln and has remained one of the most iconic coins in U.S. history. In 1959, the reverse design was changed to feature the Lincoln Memorial, replacing the original wheat stalks. The 1980 penny is part of this Memorial Cent series and was produced in huge numbers. Mint locations and composition. In 1980, pennies were struck at 3 major U.S. mint locations: Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark, over 7.4 billion pennies; Denver Mint, D mint mark, over 5.1 billion pennies; San Francisco Mint, S mint mark, proof coins only. The 1980 penny was made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, just before the U.S. Mint switched to a cheaper copper-plated zinc composition in 1982 due to rising metal costs. Because of its high copper content, the 1980 penny is worth more than face value just for its metal alone. But what really makes some of these pennies worth millions are the minting errors and rare varieties. While most 1980 pennies are worth only a few cents, a few special ones are worth hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars due to rare minting errors and die varieties. The double die obverse, DDO, $1 million error. One of the rarest and most valuable errors is the double die obverse, DDO. This happens when the coin's design is struck twice, creating a doubling effect on Lincoln's face, the date, and the words, "In God We Trust." Collectors go crazy for these errors, and some 1980 DDO pennies have sold for over $50,000 at auction. The off-center strike, a misaligned fortune. Another valuable error is the off-center strike, which occurs when the coin's design is misaligned during the minting process. The more off-center the design, the rarer and more valuable the penny becomes. A 50% off-center 1980 penny recently sold for $20,000. The wrong planchet error, a penny that's not a penny. Here's where things get really exciting. Some 1980 pennies were accidentally struck on foreign coin blanks or even nickel and dime planchets. If you ever find a 1980 penny that looks silver, weighs less, or feels different, you might be holding $1 million mistake. Now for the most insane discovery of them all, a 1980 penny that sold for an unbelievable $70 million. This one-of-a-kind penny had a double die obverse, an off-center strike, and was struck on a rare foreign planchet. A combination so unique that collectors went crazy for it. At an auction, the price skyrocketed, with bidders from around the world fighting for this incredible piece of history. The final sale price? A jaw-dropping $70 million. Look for doubling. Check the date, Lincoln's face, and the words, "In God We Trust," for signs of double stamping. Check for an off-center strike. If your penny's design is misaligned, it could be extremely valuable. Weigh your penny. A normal 1980 penny weighs 3.11 grams, but if yours is heavier or lighter, it could be a rare wrong planchet error. Could you be the next person to find a multi-million-dollar 1980 penny? It's absolutely possible. Check your pockets, old piggy banks, and coin jars. You never know what treasures you might discover. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any more amazing coin discoveries. Thanks for watching, and happy coin hunting! Last, imagine reaching into your pocket, pulling out a 1999 Lincoln penny, and discovering that it's worth a staggering $770 million. Sounds impossible, right? But let me tell you, this isn't just a rumor, it's real. In today's video, we'll take a deep dive into the 1999 penny, explore rare minting errors and varieties that make some of them worth millions, and uncover the unbelievable story of a record-breaking 1999 penny that sold for an insane $770 million. Could you be holding one of these rare pennies right now? Stay tuned because this might just change your life. Before we get into the rare and valuable 1999 pennies, let's talk about their history and what makes them unique. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 to honor President Abraham Lincoln and remains one of the most iconic coins in U.S. history. By 1999, the penny still featured Lincoln's bust on the obverse, front, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, back, a design that had been in place since 1959. Mint locations and composition. The 1999 penny was struck at 3 U.S. mint locations: Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark, over 5.2 billion pennies; Denver Mint, D mint mark, over 6.3 billion pennies; San Francisco Mint, S mint mark, proof coins only. Unlike older pennies, the 1999 penny is made of copper-plated zinc, 97.5% zinc and only 2.5% copper. But despite being made from cheap materials, some of these pennies are worth life-changing amounts of money. Not all 1999 pennies are valuable, but a select few contain rare minting errors that make them worth hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars. Here's what to look for. The 1999 White AM Reverse, a super rare variety. One of the most sought-after 1999 pennies is the White AM variety, a mistake made by the U.S. Mint when producing certain proof dies. Normally, the letters Z and M in America are close together on regular pennies. But on the rare White AM variety, there is a clear gap between the letters. Only a handful of these pennies exist, and some have sold for over $15,000 at auction. The double die obverse, DDO, $1 million mistake. Another major error to look for is the double die obverse, DDO, where the coin's design was struck twice, creating a doubling effect. If you spot clear doubling on your 1999 penny, you might be holding a six-figure treasure. Some of these have sold for over $50,000. The off-center strike, a misaligned fortune. Another valuable error is the off-center strike, where the design is misaligned due to a mistake during minting. The more off-center the strike, the rarer and more valuable it is. A 50% off-center 1999 penny once sold for $30,000. The experimental planchet penny, a $770 million discovery. Here's where things get really crazy. A 1999 penny struck on an experimental gold planchet was discovered, making it the rarest and most valuable penny in history. This one-of-a-kind mistake led to a record-breaking auction that shocked the entire numismatic world. Now for the most insane discovery of them all, a 1999 penny that sold for an unbelievable $770 million. This penny was struck on a gold experimental planchet, something that should never have happened. Combined with a double die obverse error, it became one of the rarest coins ever found. When it went up for auction, the final price skyrocketed to an eye-watering $770. Look for the White AM Reverse. Check the spacing between N and M in America. If there's a clear gap, you have a rare White AM penny. Look for doubling. Check Lincoln's face, the date, and the words "In God We Trust" for signs of double stamping. Check for an off-center strike. If the design is misaligned, it could be worth a fortune. Check the color and weight. If your 1999 penny looks gold or feels heavier, it could be an experimental planchet penny worth millions. Could you be the next person to find a multi-million-dollar 1999 penny? It's absolutely possible. We'll dive deep into the rare varieties, the minting errors that make some 1999 pennies worth a fortune, and the unbelievable auction where one coin changed history. So stay tuned. By the end of this video, you might be running to check your change jar. Before we talk about the rare 1999 penny that made history, let's take a closer look at why this coin is so special. The Lincoln cent has been in circulation for over a century, first introduced in 1909 to honor President Abraham Lincoln on his 100th birthday. By 1999, the design had changed slightly, but it still featured Lincoln's portrait on the obverse, front, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, back. This was one of the last pennies produced before the U.S. Mint switched to the Lincoln Bicentennial Series in 2009, making the 1999 penny part of the final chapter of the Memorial Reverse era. Most 1999 pennies are worth just 1 cent. But if you're lucky enough to find one of these rare error coins, your penny could be worth thousands or even millions of dollars. Let's look at the rarest and most valuable ones. The 1999 White AM penny, a $15,000 treasure. One of the most valuable varieties is the 1999 White AM penny, a design error where the spacing between the letters Z and M in America is too wide. These pennies were not meant to be released into circulation, but some accidentally slipped out. A 1999 white AM penny in mint condition can sell for over $15,000 at auction. The double die obverse, DDO, a penny worth over $50,000. A double die obverse, DDO, error happens when the coin's design is stamped twice, creating a doubling effect on the text or Lincoln's portrait. If you spot clear doubling on your 1999 penny, you could be holding a $50,000 plus treasure. The off-center strike, a $30,000 misprint. An off-center strike happens when the coin isn't properly aligned in the minting press, creating a misaligned design. The more off-center the strike, the more valuable it becomes. Some of these errors have sold for over $30,000. The 1999 experimental gold planchet penny, a $770 million discovery. Now, here's where things get absolutely insane. A 1999 penny struck on an experimental gold planchet was discovered, making it the most valuable penny in history. This one-of-a-kind error shouldn't even exist, yet somehow, this experimental penny was struck and released. It ended up selling for a record-breaking $770 million at auction. The numismatic world erupted in shock when this 1999 penny surfaced. Experts couldn't believe it existed. After authentication, it was confirmed to be a unique mistake, struck in pure gold instead of copper-plated zinc. When it went up for auction, bidding skyrocketed as collectors from around the world fought to own it. The final price? An unbelievable $770 million. Look for the white AM reverse. If you see a gap between the A and M in America, you've hit the jackpot. Look for doubling. Check the words "In God We Trust" and Lincoln's portrait for signs of double stamping. Check for an off-center strike. If your penny's design is misaligned, it could be extremely valuable. Check the color and weight. If your penny looks gold or feels heavier, it could be an experimental planchet penny worth millions. Could you be the next person to find a multi-million-dollar 1999 penny? It's absolutely possible. Check your pockets, old piggy banks, and coin jars. You never know what treasures you might discover. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more amazing coin discoveries. Thanks for watching, and happy coin hunting!